How's it going? I'm going to be looking at some Southern hip hop releases, odds and ends. Keep in mind, I've put out videos on Houston hip hop, 3 6 Mafia, Cash Money Records, Outkast, 8 Ball, and MJG. So check those out. But won't waste any time. Let's get to the CDs. This is As Nasty as They Want to Be by the Two Live Crew. So the Two Live Crew are a group from Miami. This album was 1989 and very influential. This was extremely controversial at the time, very sexually explicit. I forget exactly what happened, but I think this was like banned for a time or banned in certain states. It was a real central release in censorship in the music industry for sure. I like the last song, Cool, and that's a fun one. And there's a lot of good ones on here, but my favorite is probably, we'll just call it The Shop. They sample Guns N' Roses and Van Halen, and it's just a fun song. I got a bunch of other old Two Live Crew albums. I really can't find them right now. Hopefully I come across them and I can show them. Let's fast forward almost 10 years to 1998. This is The Real One by the Two Live Crew, but by this point, Luke had left the group, and I actually think this might be the only one without Luke. And this was also, sadly, their final album. I think they toured quite a bit after this, but this was the last album. And I think this was their best one, personally. Obviously, there's some filler in here, but there are several really good tracks on here. I like Two Live Party with KC from KC and the Sunshine Band. Freak Nasty's also on there. Freak Ho. Bottle and a Blunt featuring the Loonies. The Real One with Ice-T. Raise the Roof. And World Famous. Fresh Kid Ice, he passed away a couple years ago. So I mentioned that Luke left the group somewhere along the way, and this is the release Uncle Luke from 1996. I gotta be honest, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about this release. I listened to it a couple times when I picked it up, and I guess it didn't impress me because I put it away. Fast forward several years, we have, I'd say this was 2002, Something Nasty by Uncle Luke. Pretty hit and miss album here, but the two I think stand out the most are Save Me From the Devil and Could It Be. So now we're gonna go to Mississippi and check out David Banner, of course the most well-known, maybe the only well-known rapper from Mississippi. And this was his well, no, I don't think it was his debut full-length, but this was his first album on a major label, Mississippi the Album. This was on Universal Records and Big Face Entertainment, which was his company. So I knew the name, and I heard the first single, Like a Pimp with Little Flip, and I just found it to be really unique. Just the beat was kind of simple, but you liked it. David Banner has a unique style on the mic as well. I bought this album the week it came out, and I played it all summer. I had to pick just a couple songs. I like What It Do, Still Pimpin', and Cadillac on 22s. Shortly after, I think it was less than a year, Mississippi the Album, Volume 2, Baptize and Dirty Water came out. This wasn't quite as good, but I still liked it. A lot more guest appearances on here. Scarface, Busta Rhymes, Twista, Lil Flip again, T.I., Nelly, 8 Ball. The song I always think about here is the Christmas song. Not a happy song, but it's definitely effective. And once again, shortly thereafter, there was Certified. That came out in 2005, still on Universal Big Face. This might be my favorite release from him. Gangster Walk, On Everything, Riding, Treat Me Like, the opener Lost Souls. I could go on and on. I just mentioned that this was my favorite album by him. I do not know why I stopped following David Banner's career after this. A friend of mine burned me the follow-up to this, and I just, again, I've said this many times in my hip-hop videos, I just stopped listening to as much hip-hop around this time. And the last thing I'm going to talk about with David Banner is this. Crooked Letters, Gray Skies. So this was before David Banner went solo. It was a group featuring himself and a rapper named Kamikaze. And this came out on Penalty Recordings, 1999. And the best song on here right away was the second song, Get Crunk, featuring Pimp C. Jermaine Dupri, Instructions. Famous rapper, producer from Atlanta. Some work that went from Da Brat, Criss Cross, Usher, all the way to the present day. And I looked at his debut album on like an underrated album video, but I'm gonna break that out again because that CD rules. But so does this one. And you got Welcome to Atlanta with Ludacris, Get Some with Usher, Ballin' Out of Control with Nate Dogg, Rules of the Game with Manish Man. I've never heard of Manish Man outside of this song, but that might be the highlight of the album actually. Jazzy Hoes Part 2. And let's go with Whatever. Great album. And our final one for today is PA, Parental Advisory, My Life, Your Entertainment. This was a three-piece group that I believe were from Atlanta. And this album came out on DreamWorks in 2000. The best song on here for sure was Sundown featuring 8Ball. See Goody Mob on a couple songs on here. I see T.I., I see Pimp C. Underrated album. And that's it. Looking forward to talking about more. Thanks.